People of the internet! There's one video that I saw. There's actually two videos I actually wanted to review from this channel. Somebody sent me one, and then this is the other one, but I haven't got to digest the other one that I watched. But this other video here is from the YouTube channel Hardly Initiated, in which they titled the video, "Single Men Over 40 Years Old Are Red Flags." Of course, as I say in this channel, I'm a millennial. I am 35 years old, single, no kids, no prospects, this, that, and the other. So I see a title like this, and of course it's gonna catch my interest. I want to go ahead and watch this video, get some context, and I want to hear from you guys down in the comment section below after we get the thesis of this claim. We could kind of dissect it together. So again, shout out to Hardly Initiated. Let's click into this video entitled "Single Men Over 40 Years Old Are Red Flags."
Men go through their own life stages. Men. I'm not talking about boys, because you have some men that are 40 years old and they should already be in the king stage. King stage means that he's already financially stable. He's already at a place where he has built his home, or he is ready to build his home. He is ready to get married. This is the reason why I say if a man is 40 and over and he's not married, he's a no man, okay? 9 times out of 10, there's always exceptions, okay? But I'm talking about it as a general rule. If a man is 40 and over and he is not seriously dating somebody with the intentions of marrying her, he just been jumping from one relation to another, he's damaged goods. Emotionally stagnant. He's stuck in the childish night stage.
So, this is actually something that I have heard a lot of women agreeing with.
Damaged goods.
And
I want to pause there. Shout out to these gentlemen, of course, man. I actually kind of want to hear their thoughts as well, too. Looks like there's a panel of other gentlemen on the Hardly Initiated channel. I'll leave the link to the full video down in the description below. Lady here says that single men over the age of 40 should be in what she calls their king phase. Or just men in general. Men over the age of 40, 40 and above, should be in their king phase, where they would have established their home, established their family, or at least the woman that they want to be with long term. She says any man who is 40 years old or older and is still single and is still jumping from different woman to different woman, this, that, and the other, is damaged goods. Her words, that's what she said. She said he wouldn't be a king, he would be a knight, is what she said. He's in his knight phase. He's not a king. According to her, these are words that we usually hear, alpha male and king and this, that, blah, blah, blah. I don't get caught up in these titles, bro. Don't let these titles supersede the work, the actual work of what it just calls to be a good man. Don't get caught up in these titles and these archetypes. That's my first thing. A couple things jump out to me off of this statement. Let's dissect this. I'm gonna play both sides. Let's start with where I agree with her, or where I see her angle. I see her angle, and again, mind you, I'm 35 years old, single man, so she's almost kind of talking to me, kind of, sort of. Oh, I got 5 more years, or whatever the case is. But 35, 40, I feel like we know as men, that kind of stage right there in your life is critical chapters for the most part. One thing where I'm gonna play both sides, and first I'm gonna preface this by saying, first and foremost, I don't really like going by nobody's standards but my own. No TikToker on social media, no parent, no colleague, no institution, no church, no pastor, no government, no institution in the world should be able to dictate my life or your life when it comes to making those type of decisions. Don't let any institution, any friend, any colleague, any societal norm, don't let anybody dictate when you should be successful, when you should be married, when you should have kids. I'm not listening to anybody but myself and God when it comes to those matters. So that's the first thing I'm gonna say. Again, the video is entitled "Single Men Over 40 Years Old Are Red Flags." Says who? You? That's the first thing says who? Who made that rule? You? TikTokers? YouTubers? What? Who? People that picked up microphones and just started spewing out their opinions? Says who? That's the first thing. Where I'm gonna play her side a little bit and say, okay, I see your angle. I do believe in personal development, no matter how fast or how slow that looks like. I do believe in traditional standards to a degree. Again, not necessarily giving my all into these societal norms that came from wherever. But I do believe in personal development. I do believe a man should take on a noble task in bettering himself, regardless of how long it takes him. If he's 25, 35, 45, 50, personal development is a lifelong journey. That's going to happen until you are no longer breathing. So to put a time frame on a man to say, oh, by 40, he should be a king with his own establishment and his own this, that, and the other. At that age, at that time, I don't believe that's a standard that you should go through anybody for. You should do that for your own self. Set those standards for your own self. But I do believe in personal development. I do believe as a man progresses in his life, he should be progressing to standards that make sense to him. She also goes on to say, oh, a man at 40, if a man is single at 40, he's still single. He's still hopping from woman to woman. She made that point as well, too. No man over the age of 40 should be hopping from woman to woman, this, that, and the other. Okay. You can make that claim. Again, we're speaking responsibly here, because the fun thing to say, and some might assume that I would say, oh, nah, a man should be able to do this, that, and the other, whatever the case is. It all has to be based off what he sets his morals on, what's priorities to him. If a man has the finances and the capacity, the mental capacity, the emotional capacity to juggle multiple women, do it. If you want to, that's your life. Who am I? But if a man is at a certain age in his life and he sees like, the path that I'm on right now, if I want to keep going at this level, it's probably wise that I either one, stick to myself, or two, find one solid partner that I want to kind of build with and establish something, well, do it. You have that right. So again, going back to this woman who says men over the age of 40 are damaged goods. Men, if you're single and 40 years old, you should be a king. If you're a man and 40 years old and, not dating a woman with intention, I'll say this as well too, where I'm going to play her side as well too. I feel like at a certain age, yeah, man, if I am getting up there in age, again, at an age that you deem up there, not off of my own standards, off your own standards that you set for yourself. If a man is up there in age and he's dating, I would hope that he's dating for the long term, even if it's not dating for marriage, like at least it's dating to settle down. I mean, I would hope that would be, again, depending on how you view marriage, because I'm back and forth on marriage myself, to be completely honest. So I don't ever want to be hypocritical in saying this, but like, I do believe your intentionality in all facets of life should start to mature as you get older. So you should be intentional with your friends. You should be intentional with your business. You should be intentional with the people, the, romantic counterparts that you're looking for at a certain age. So I'm going to agree with her to that degree as well, too. If at 40, 45 years old, you're still hopping from woman to woman, that can maybe say a lot more about your character as opposed to maybe your finances or your money, this, that, and the other, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, again, I'm going to leave that up to the person in charge. I would hope if somebody's on a personal journey of personal development, then maybe some of these things you just kind of deem and see like, hey, man, it's maybe not in my best interest to be talking to multiple people, or it's maybe not in my best interest to spend X amount on this, that, and the other. I think with age, hopefully does come wisdom. So that's why I'm going to somewhat give her, all right, lady, yeah, if we're playing the game of personal development, 40 is an age where, yeah, ideally, again, not going off any standards, but by 40, best case scenario, yeah, hopefully you got it figured out. But don't think that you're inadequate because you don't have it figured out. Some dudes don't get popping until 65 years old, 50 years old, who knows? So, yeah, if 40 is a number that you deem as a solid metric for you, then yeah, all right, cool. Then you should act accordingly off of your own personal standards, off of the own, but not these people on social media. Is basically the point that I'm saying. Not even me. The part where I'm going to play on the male side, of course, is saying that I've never heard a man be considered damaged goods. She used the word damaged goods, and that might have just been a jab at what men, I should say, typically call women at a certain age. You typically hear men in this red pill dating space, whatever the case is, you typically hear men call women damaged goods after they hit the wall or reach a certain age, where, maybe their looks start to fade or this, that, and the other. Maybe they're scrambling. They're starting to settle at a certain age. Usually around the time men would maybe call women damaged goods. Some men will refer to women as damaged goods. I don't necessarily subscribe to that ideology. But some men will consider women damaged goods if they're at the age of 30, 35, no, with kids or no kids or, single, married, divorced, whatever the case is, they'll call them that. So when she said men over 40, single men over 40 are damaged goods, it sounded like maybe just like a jab at what is commonly said about women. But I'm going to disagree with you. A man at 40, if done correctly, is probably exactly where he wants to be. Again, based off of personal development, how early or late you started in the game on your journey of personal development. You see what I'm saying? Depending on how late or early you started in your path of personal development and the groundwork that you've been putting in, depending on when you started, 40, yeah, ideally is an age where I don't think a man is damaged goods at all. If done correctly, I think a man who's single and is establishing himself, whether in his career or whatever the case is building a home, whatever she said, this, that, or the other, because according to her, According to this lady here, a man at 40 should be a king with his home established, this, that, established, career established, money established, this, that, the other, and he should be looking for a queen, is what this lady's saying. I'm not necessarily saying she's wrong in saying so, but I'm saying depending on how early a man's personal development journey started, yeah, if done correctly, maybe 40, the sooner the better. The sooner you got on that path, the earlier you can maybe retire out the game. You see what I'm saying? So all that to say, don't feel if you're a man that's 40 or plus and you're not a king to this lady's standards, or you don't have your establishment, don't think that you're out the game because you're still alive, you're still breathing. You see what I'm saying? All in all, folks, I just kind of think that these general statements, of course, again, the video was titled "Single Men Over the Years of 40 Years Old Are Red Flags." Is what it was the thesis of this claim. Of course, the gentlemen in this podcast, of course, we're going to give their takes. I kind of want to hear theirs. I'm going to safely assume that all of them are calling bullshit, which I do as well, too. These, of course, look like successful men. I've seen some of these dudes on these YouTube streets before as well, too. So I'm going to agree that maybe all of that panel agreed that all of that is malarkey of what this girl's talking about. Ultimately, the take-home value I want anybody that could be watching this to take away: one, don't go off of any societal norms. These little people who pick up microphones, myself included. Just because you are a person with a microphone and a platform, no matter big or small, doesn't make you the law. And I'm saying that about myself. It doesn't mean that it's law. It's content. It's opinion. So be mindful of these people that you're listening to that are making you feel inadequate because they set their standards of how they view the world and you don't fit that. Why would you want to live up to the standards of strangers on the internet? And I'm even saying that as me, a person who's talking. You see what I'm saying? Take everything I say with a grain of salt. If the things that ever come out my mouth apply to you, then let it apply to you. If the things I say to you go in one ear and out the other, that's your right as well too. Please understand that. Don't ever think that me or anybody else on these YouTube streets are expecting you to live your life off of how I'm viewing it. I'm just throwing my 2 cents in the pot. If it resonates with you, it resonates with you. So that's the one thing I want to make clear, regardless of who's talking. These men, these women, man, don't feel inadequate because some stranger on the internet said you're not a king if you're not 40 years old and don't have your shit together. Because you're still in the game if you're trying. Your time could come at 50, 55 years old, man. So to call men red flags because he's single, over the age of 40 and successful, a single 40-year-old man who's successful is a red flag? I'm not talking about a single 40-year-old man who, don't got it together, don't whatever the case is. Okay, yeah, maybe. But a single successful man, 40 or older is a red flag? In what world? In what world? I'm not familiar. But again, base your standards off of standards that you set for yourself and your circumstances and your lifestyle, not those that come from strangers on the internet. That's my thoughts, folks. Of course, I want to hear yours down in the comment section below. As always, the likes, the comments, and subscribes are all greatly appreciated. Let's get into the next one.